Hello, and welcome to this short video on the basics of engagement in an online session. We've been joined today by a motley crew of learners who have logged onto the session using a variety of hardware such as laptops, tablets, mobile phones and the like. The video you are watching is a recording of the screen from the point of view of a tutor in an online session, and our choice of platform today is WebEx Training. By the end of this video, you will be able to regularly check learner engagement in an online session. An online classroom differs from a traditional classroom in a number of ways, and though the principle of teaching and learning is the same as always, we have to make some changes to the way we do things to ensure it remains effective. In the traditional classroom, you have a group of learners in front of you with whom you can interact consistently. You can see their body language, their facial expressions, and there will be an amount of natural chatter which makes it easy to identify who is engaging in the session. In the online classroom, the majority of the time you have an empty theatre stage and a lot of those cues are lost. So, how do we ensure we maintain the same level of engagement when we do not have those cues? One possible solution would be for everyone to join the session using a webcam and microphone so you can always see and hear what everyone is saying and doing. Though it wouldn't be a total replacement for the traditional classroom, it would be as close as we could possibly get. However, various circumstances combine to make this difficult to achieve over a period of time. Connectivity issues, webcam problems, and microphones that don't work all combine with the pitfalls of learning in a home environment to provide a significant challenge. Some online platforms have an engagement checker, which alerts you when a learner has stopped paying attention to what is going on, and this is sometimes very useful to identify when learners have started doing something else on their device. The exclamation mark next to Jim Lee shows that they are currently not paying attention. However, this is not always available, and does not always mean that learners have disengaged. There are usually a number of tools and strategies that can be used to check learners are still engaging. These include ticks and crosses, chat boxes, question, polling, annotation, and individual engagement via microphone, among other things. These are just some of the basic ways to keep learners involved in the session and to check they are still with you. The important message here is to ensure that you are regularly asking your learners to do something to avoid them losing interest. At this point, I'd like to ask the learners logged into this session to raise their hand if they are happy for me to carry on. Great, it looks like I've got raised hands from most of the class. However, one of our learners hasn't done so. Jimbo, can you hear me? If so, can you give me a raised hand? So Jimbo either can't hear us or has stopped listening. Either way, they are not engaged with the session. Let's try something else quickly to check they are still there. In the chat box, I'm just going to say hello. So Jimbo is involved but can't hear us. Let's give him some instructions on how to resolve the problem. Jimbo is now logged out and we'll move on whilst we await their return. We're now 4 minutes into the video, and at this point your attention is probably starting to wander a little bit. Something might be going on in the background, or you may even be thinking about making a cup of tea. That's absolutely fine. After a few minutes, in this type of learning session, people's engagement does start to wane. This means that it is important to ensure that everyone is getting involved in some way every few minutes. This could be by using the engagement tools provided by the online platform, by having a chat with the students, by giving them an activity to complete, or anything else that you think is suitable. Ideally, you should try to engage with each person individually as much as possible during the session, but you don't have to be individual every time. Looks like Jimbo's logging back in. Let's make sure everything is okay. Jimbo, can you give me a raised hand if you can hear me and are happy to move on? Excellent, we're all sorted. Now, think about your own sessions. How often do you provide learners with an opportunity to interact? It's very important that you are 100% honest with yourself here. Write the answer down. So, how often do you do it? If you're providing opportunities for everyone to interact, and therefore to check engagement every 5 minutes or less, you will likely keep everyone engaged during the session. If you do it every 5 to 10 minutes, you will probably be just about okay if the activities themselves are quite entertaining. If you are interacting and checking engagement less than every 10 minutes, you might as well not be teaching a session at all. Many learners will become disengaged and stop taking part to the extent that you want them to do so. Now that you have taken part in a small activity, we've earned another minute or so to recap. Be aware of how long you are talking in your sessions. Remember that learners need to interact every few minutes. Use the online tools at your disposal as well as providing activities and talking to the learners directly. Interrogate and identify reasons learners may not be engaging and take action to encourage or facilitate their engagement. This may be that they are having technical issues, they may not fully understand what you've been saying, or they might even be unmotivated for a different reason. Your intervention now will help you to understand what the problem is, resolve it, and will make a huge difference to their experience. This short video has shown how we can quickly and effectively ensure that our learners continue to interact and remain engaged. The result of doing this forms the very basics of gathering feedback from your learners. We'll look at this more in a future video. In the meantime, if there is anything you would like to discuss regarding the basic engagement of learners, please do not hesitate to contact me via the details on screen. And happy teaching!